Welcome back, everyone. This is another episode of Unscripted Coding. Today we have in front of us a website for Novax BC. What this is of course, vaccination. Pandemic, maybe if you're seeing this video 10, 20 years away from when I filmed it, you might not know that we're in the middle of a pandemic right now. British Columbia, Canada is about to do vaccination passports, proof of vaccination. And of course, there are a number of businesses that seemingly are planning not to enforce those rules. I land squarely on the side of you can get your vaccine. But nevertheless, there are sites like these where they have lists of businesses that are against these rules. And Reddit sent me to this one, and apparently you can't copy and paste off of this website. And I wanted to see what we can do to actually get the list of businesses out there. I think it's going to be a fairly short video. We're going to look at the elements, and chances are there's, I can't remember what the tag is, but that will restrict copy and pasting. And then we might use some JavaScript to automate getting the list of names out. But we'll see. I can't see beyond this site. This is just a login page. But our very first task is to get around this sign-in page. I certainly don't want to give these people my email address. So we'll be using a temporary email address from some third-party service. So stay tuned. We're going to try and crack this and see if we can get a nice clean list going. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've actually done. If you take a look at the site, there is a left bar and a right bar. And the kind of confusing part that we had trouble with is both of these use the same cards. You can see that they look fairly similar. So they have the same classes, they have the same kind of hierarchy as well. And as a result, some of the early CSS selectors we were using were picking up names on this left bar. And we solved that by moving it over. And so you can see the document query selector. We use the content wrapper, which takes this right column instead. Maybe I should go back first. What is it we're trying to do? What we're trying to do is just go down this entire list and pick out all the names. You can see that I looked very briefly at Puppeteer to automate. I was thinking maybe I could go down each and every city and go down each list. And similarly, I also looked into the card. There's additional information here. But I just wanted very quick and simply to pull up a list of all these locations. And it was, in theory, it's very simple. You use a query selector for each of these tiles. I think they're called cards, or however you want to say it, and pick out the name, and you just list them out. And that's basically what we did. We have document.query selector all, and then we picked out the right classes. So we went the first one, which is content wrapper. Zoom in here. The first one is content wrapper. That's this big one right here. And then we looked at SC, random string of letters, and that is just something on top of the card. And finally, you look at the tile. And finally, once you get to there, you convert the list of all of these queries into an array, and then you go through a for each loop throughout that array. And so basically, you went a query, you got a giant list, you did some conversion to make it easy, and then for each element in that list, you do various things. And for me, I just pushed it into my output list. I just took the text out of that div. So each one I would take out vitasave.ch, Shannon, Denise, real estate advisor, and so on, and go down the list. Now, it's interesting because the site doesn't keep it consistent. Let's go Vancouver, just so that we have more. Vancouver is a giant list. And what happens is it's actually destroying and recreating the cards. If you go above this bar, just somewhere up here, or below this bar somewhere further down, those cards aren't there. And so the list, when you search for these cards, it's just going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 1 or 2 on top of that. I'm sure there's a way to do it. And again, I'm thinking Puppeteer if you really, really wanted to do a proper job of it. But all I did was zoom all the way out so that I see as many cards as possible and take and run this once, twice, 3 times just to catch everything. And you just got to be smart about it. You have the output list. You run all of this, and then you just run this part a couple times every time you scroll up and down on a page so that you just keep putting it to the end. Now, I didn't care so much about the overlap, but I did this unique mapping function to make sure I get rid of all the duplicates. And then I finally just spat out the list in the end. And it's basically that simple. I started originally trying to use jQuery. It seemed to me like they had jQuery installed just because they accept the cache, P notation. But I'm sure there's a command that better verifies that jQuery is there. But they didn't. That's why there's no .each. It would have been even faster if we had this. And then in the end, I just pulled out lists for a couple cities that are nearby, just to see. It's really simple, and one of the beauties about knowing web development is there's so much information on the web, and if you find a way to scrape or get data efficiently out of web pages and get things that other people aren't able to, just by using basic JavaScript, it's very useful. Well, that's about it. This was really, really short. And it would have been even shorter. This app is done a little bit strange. I find it very strange that they kind of destroy and recreate cards like that. but everybody builds their website differently, and you gotta start thinking these things through. And one of the challenges, or one of the rewarding aspects, is figuring out what they're doing, how they're doing it, and getting around it. So thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, leave a comment, thumbs up, subscribe, do whatever you have to do. But if not, just stay tuned next week and we're going to do another video. Thanks for watching.